Secrets fester in silence, but confession, no matter how terrifying, can set even the deepest wounds on the path to healing. If you crave stories where tears and truth collide, hit subscribe. The story begins, Cape Cod, Massachusetts. 5 women returned to the beach where, a decade earlier, they made a pact that would bind them forever and bury a lie that would haunt them. The storm rolled in at midnight, the same way it had 10 years ago. Lightning split the sky as Lila's SUV crunched over the seashell driveway of the rented beach house. Her headlights illuminated 4 silhouettes on the porch: Harper, Nina, Jess, and Maya. The coven they'd called themselves in college, though now, at 32, the nickname felt like a relic from a life that no longer fit. "You're late," Harper said, her voice sharp as ever. She hugged Lila stiffly, her Chanel perfume clashing with the brine in the air. "We've got wine. And Xanax. Figured you'd need both." Inside, the house was all weathered wood and fraying quilts, unchanged since their graduation trip. The same Scrabble board sat on the coffee table, the tiles still spelling sorry from their last game. Nina, ever the peacekeeper, handed Lila a glass of Merlot. "How's the podcast?" she asked, too brightly. "Tears and Truth's doing okay," Lila said, avoiding their eyes. She didn't mention the hate mail, the anonymous commenter who'd been quoting their old pact verbatim. "What happens on this beach stays here. No matter what." They'd come back to rewrite the ending. At least, that's what they'd agreed over group texts. But as the wine flowed, the conversation veered into minefields. Harper's divorce, Jess's suspended nursing license, Maya's cryptic Instagram posts about starting over. By 2 a.m., they were drunk and barefoot on the beach, the tide licking their ankles as Harper dragged out the faded Ziploc bag from her purse. Inside were 5 slips of paper and a cheap Bic lighter. "Burn them," Harper said. "The pact ends tonight." 10 years ago, they'd each written a secret on those papers, things they'd sworn to take to their graves. Lila's had been a single sentence: "I let him drown." But as the flames swallowed the scraps, Nina froze. "Wait, 5 secrets? There were only 4 of us here that night." A chill cut through the salt air. The 5th slip, crisp and unyellowed, read, "I know what you did." Flashback, the bonfire roared as the girls passed a bottle of peach schnapps, their graduation caps tossed in the sand. They'd been invincible that summer. Harper, the alpha, bound for law school; Jess, the EMT in training, her laugh too loud for her petite frame; Maya, the artist, already sketching the sunset; Nina, quiet and devout, clutching her rosary; and Lila, the glue, her camcorder capturing every moment. Then he appeared. Ryan Carter, Maya's older brother, home from Iraq with a silver star and a twitch in his left eye. He crashed their trip, slurring about ghosts in Fallujah, his hands lingering too long on Jess's waist. "War's a fucking joke," he'd hissed, waving a flask. "You girls, you're the real heroes. Pretty little heroes." It was Lila who found him later, waist deep in the riptide, screaming at the moon. "They're in the water," he'd sobbed. "I can't pull them out." She'd tried to drag him back, but he fought, his fists swinging wild. When the others arrived, Harper snapped into command. "Just check his pulse." Jess knelt, her training evaporating. "He's not breathing." "Oh God, we have to call 911. No, Harper's voice was steel. "He's a decorated vet. They'll say we killed him. Or worse, believe we did." They'd buried him where the dunes met the tide, his dog tags clutched in Maya's shaking hands. The pact was Harper's idea: write your worst secret. "We burn them and the past stays gone." But Lila, panicked, had tucked the slips into her journal instead. A backup plan. Present day back in the beach house, Jess hyperventilated. "Someone knows. Did you tell anyone, Lila? Was it for your fucking podcast?" "No. I never." Lila's phone buzzed. A notification from Tears and Truth, new comment on episode 14, When Friends Become Liars. The username StormSurge2009 had written, "You shouldn't have come back." Maya stood abruptly. "We need to dig." "What?" Nina gasped. "Ryan. If the body's gone, then someone's been waiting 10 years for this." Rain lashed the beach as the women clawed at the sand with their hands, the storm howling like a living thing. Harper's manicured nails split, staining the dunes with streaks of crimson. "Faster," she barked, though no one could hear her over the wind. Jess sobbed as she dug, her scrubs soaked through, while Maya muttered curses to the god Nina still prayed to. Lila's phone buzzed again in her pocket, another comment, another threat, but she ignored it. They reached 3 feet down before the shovels hit metal. Is dog tags, Maya whispered, lifting the chain from the grit. The engraving glinted in a flash of lightning. Ryan J. Carter. OPS. Atheist. Nina crossed herself, but where's the Jess gagged, stumbling back. The grave was empty. Harper spun to Lila, wild-eyed. You said you filmed everything that night. Where's the camera? I threw it into the marina the next morning, Lila lied. The truth was in her suitcase upstairs, buried under Xanax bottles. She hadn't watched the tape in a decade. A scream tore through the night. They found Nina kneeling farther down the beach, her hands cradling a waterlogged backpack. Inside were Ryan's military ID, a rusted hunting knife, and a stack of letters addressed to a woman named Danny in San Diego. The final envelope, unopened, bore a 2019 postmark. He was alive, Nina breathed. After he left, Maya snatched the knife. Bullshit. I felt his pulse stop. We all did. Did we? Harper's voice trembled for the first time. Jess, you were in shock. You froze. Jess recoiled. You're blaming me? You're the one who said no cops. You're the one who, a rock shattered the beach house's kitchen window. Inside, the Scrabble tiles were rearranged on the floor. Liar, liar. On the counter, a fresh slip of paper bled ink into the wood grain. Dig deeper. The storm died at dawn, leaving the beach raw and gasping. Harper marched them to the marina where a rusty dredge boat listed in the mudflats. Ryan's letters are fake, she said. This Danny doesn't exist. I checked. Then who's been sending threats? Lila demanded, someone who wants us to crack. Harper eyed Jess, who hadn't spoken since the grave. Back at the house, Nina hid in the shower, scrubbing sand from her skin until it bled. The rosary around her neck snagged on a scar, a thin white line from her hip to her ribs. A reminder the nun at St. Agnes's had said, pain is God's megaphone. But Nina hadn't told the others about the pregnancy, the midnight drive to the clinic, the way Ryan had found her crying in the dorm parking lot that spring. Your secret's safe with me, he'd said, smiling like a wolf. For now. She emerged to find Maya gutting the couch with Ryan's knife. What are you doing? The comments, Maya said, tossing her a phone. Storm Surge 2009 had posted a photo of the beach house's attic dormer taken that morning. They're here. Watching. Upstairs, Lila finally played the tape. The footage was grainy, the audio shredded by wind, but she saw it. Ryan thrashing in the surf as the girls screamed. Then a figure in a hoodie wading into the frame, dragging him ashore. CPR. A wet, racking cough. Ryan vomiting seawater as the stranger helped him stagger away. The timestamp for 18 a.m., 2 hours after they'd buried an empty grave. The camcorder battery died as Lila whispered, we didn't kill him. Someone saved him. A crash downstairs. Jess stood in the kitchen, Harper's Xanax bottle empty in her fist. I'm done lying, she slurred. I never checked Ryan's pulse that night. I was too scared. Harper told me to say he was dead, but what if he wasn't? Maya lunged at Harper. You knew. The fight spilled onto the beach where Nina, digging frantically near the tide line, struck wood. A rotted crate. Inside, Ryan's skeleton, a bullet hole in its skull, his dog tags replaced with a note. You didn't kill me. But you killed the man who did. The bones were real. The bullet was real. The note, typed on a 1982 Smith Corona, Harper confirmed, was real. Danny, Lila realized. Ryan's letters, they weren't to her. They were from her. They'd missed it before. The knife in Ryan's grave wasn't his. Initials on the hilt, DC, matched the signature on the note. Danny Carter. Ryan's estranged mother, discharged from the army in 2003 for erratic behavior. A woman who'd spent a decade hunting the son who'd burned her house down and the girls who'd let him vanish. She's been here the whole time, Nina said, staring at the storm shutters. Scratch marks. Teeth, they ran, but the Jeep's tires were slashed. Danny found them at the marina, her face a mirror of Maya's, same storm gray eyes, same sharp cheekbones. He called me that night, she said, aiming Ryan's service revolver. Said he was scared of you. Begged me to come. The truth spilled like oil. Danny had revived Ryan, nursed him in a borrowed fishing shack. But when he tried to blackmail the girls for cash, she'd put him down. Like a rabid dog, she said. But you let me grieve a ghost. Now you'll join him. Lila's hand found the camcorder in her bag. Live stream, she mouthed to the others. Tears and Truth's audience spiked, 10,000 viewers as Danny ranted, as Jess lunged, as the gun fired into the sky. It was Nina who swung the dredge anchor. Danny's body sank fast, the riptide dragging her out to where Ryan's bones still slept. The police called it self-defense. The podcast went viral. But as the coven scattered back to their fractured lives, Lila mailed a flash drive to Danny's VA caseworker. The full confession. The footage. The truth. On the drive home, she passed a new billboard. Missing? Call Tears and Truth. Hurl it up with ghosts.